Oh yeah. Welcome to the Views from the Stands. It's your boys. It's your host, Stevie B, Steve Brennan. It's a new year, same show, but we got a lot to talk about today, man. We got a lot of stuff going on in the world of sports right now, man. The CFP just got done. We got some bold predictions for 2025. Can you believe it's actually 2025? Don't that just sound crazy to you guys?
Yeah.
20, man. That don't even sound real. Anywho, man, we got a great show planned for you guys. Like I was saying before, we got the college football playoffs we're going to get back into. We got the championship, obviously, coming up January 20th. We got some NFL wild card today and tomorrow. And, man, we have a fun down-bad debate. But before we get into the world of sports, we got to pay some bills. G-Mike, why don't you go ahead and let the people know what we got going on, brother?
Guys, I run a Telegram channel where we offer sports betting slips to sports gamblers out there where we charge $5 a month to get you winnings from anywhere from $50 to $100 to $150 a day. If you're interested in that, you'll see the link pop up in the chat right now. Boom. Or if not, if you're watching the recorded episode, you see the link up on your screen, or just hit me up on one of my socials, slide in my DM, all Diddy, and we'll get going, baby.
Speaking of parlays and everything.
A little extra pocket money for the new year is always good. Glad. BC, buddy, I know you got some stuff going on too. BC, the brand, let the people know.
I mean, my wife and I, we have our own little small business down here. You guys have been knowing it for a hot minute now. Brand.media. We got your wedding, engagement, and now we're expanding a little bit into families and couples too. So if you know anybody, any group, anyone that's got a question they want to pop, any 2 words they want to say on the altar, just hit us up at brandis.media. Check out our portfolio, see if our style is what you guys are looking for. And again, it's brandis.media, man. We want to make those special moments, those special days, create those memories that last a lifetime. And before we get into it, Mike, man, speaking of parlays, how about them Boston Celtics, man? Oh
my God, man. Boston Celtics, man. I don't understand how you're one of the best teams in the league, second best team in the Eastern Conference right now, in my opinion. And you lose to a Sacramento team where they don't have their superstar De'Aaron Fox by 12 points. How does that happen, bro?
This latest installment of F Boston with G-Mike. Right there.
F Boston, bro. Oh.
Yeah, man. Dude, they've cost me a whole bunch of money. Tatum kills me sometimes, man. I always go for the triple crown, if you will. The rebounds, assists, and points, and that guy constantly either goes over or not even close, man. Tatum annoys the hell out of me.
No middle ground there, man. No middle ground.
It's insane that I saw the game right when the beginning of the game, right when I got out of the gym, the college football play was going on with Texas and Ohio State, and I saw the game cast of the Celtics. And he started off 1 for 5, and I already knew right then and there. I'm like, this guy starting off 1 for 5, he's gonna fuck up the whole parlay, man. This guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyways, I got one more thing I want to go in and shout out for the sponsorship and everything. We got our Crafty Doodle. If you like these cups, they're absolutely amazing. And my guys will be having theirs pretty soon. I just haven't got a chance to see them. So we'll have our own gear going on. But yeah, Crafty Doodle. It's a great company. It's ran by Robin. She's a great person. And so I'm gonna give her a shout out. She hooked us up with the cups. And my boys will be getting some too. So anyways, guys, we'll go ahead and get that out the way. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to get into some sports. How about you?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start this year off. Like I was saying, it's 2025. We're going to go ahead and start it off a little bit different here. We're going to go with some bold predictions for 2025. And we're going to go, G-Mike, I'm going to go ahead and have you go first. What is your bold prediction for 25? We got 3 of them. Go ahead. What's your number 1? What you got?
I'll start off with the recent news of what's been going around in the South Florida area with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, right? Him trying to get out of Miami now because Pat Riley hasn't brought in pieces. He hasn't traded away pieces to try to get the team better, and he hasn't done anything in his power to try to make this team better the last 4 to 5 years that Jimmy Butler has been here. So my bold prediction for this season, for this year, with the Miami Heat is that Pat Riley is realizing that he has become washed and he is not the same guy that can go and get some players to come to play for his team, to come sign, or to get other trades to come out there. Because remember, when Jimmy came to Miami, he wanted to come himself. It wasn't that Pat Riley went to go get him. No, it's that he wanted to come himself. So my bold prediction for this would be that Pat Riley is going to step down from his position with the Miami Heat and probably not be with the organization directly, maybe indirectly, sure, but not directly. And he's gonna step away from basketball operations as president. And
I like it.
Maybe
I like it.
with everything that has been going on for the last 4 or 5 years, like I said, man, you dropped the ball on trying to get Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, um, and other big time players that wanted to come play for the Heat and have said that they want to play for the Heat, but you didn't want to trade away Tyler Hero and other pieces because you believed in them. And yes, Tyler Hero is coming into his own this season, but it's been 5 years.
Yeah, and Miami hasn't been a washed organization, so Riley's still been doing his thing. But I think every dog has his day, and it might be his time for him to maybe step aside. I agree with that.
Do we go with like a 2-for-1 kind of 2 birds with 1 stone prediction here? We say Pat Riley steps down, maybe Spoelstra steps in, coach and president GM basketball operations, maybe.
I don't like it, man. Every time that happens, man, it doesn't seem like it works out for leagues. I don't like it. I can see what you're saying, though.
I will say though, like
there's no other coach right now, in my opinion, that is better than Coach Spoelstra that can fill in the spot. I mean,
yeah, and I mean, if you look at his career trajectory, to see how he started off as like a video assistant, and now he's the head coach. He's been the head coach for well over a decade. I mean, it just seems like the next logical step is to start getting into management. And I mean,
and a winning coach too. He's been effective. He's been a winning coach as well.
Yeah,
Miami hasn't had like a flop season in quite a while. So
yeah. And I mean, we've seen coaches before kind of step into that GM role as well. Like we've seen Pop do it, even Pat Riley, like when he was coaching, like with the Heat, like his first when he first got there and everything like that, he was running that thing. Same thing like with the Lakers. So I could see it.
Yeah, we want to go a shout out to Brandon BG for checking in and letting us know that Coach Spo is an all-time great, man. And yeah, I agree. Coaching is not the problem for the Miami Heat. I can totally agree with your thoughts on that one, man.
Yeah, man. We got to get pieces around. Like, if we keep Jimmy, for instance, which I don't think that's going to happen, I think he's going to get traded. And
I think he's going to stay, to be honest with you. I don't know, because I feel like Jimmy's kind of playing it the wrong way, and he's so disgruntled that his market's going to go down, and they're not going to get much back for him. So I kind of feel like there's not much a move they can make for him.
I mean, yeah, I could see that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Not the talent. It's just, I think it's the dude, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that he's kind of, it's almost like whenever a lot of like the NBA GMs, they don't like to, or especially the players, they don't like it whenever you let people know you want to be traded, because now they know the cards are in the other team's hands that, okay, he wants out, they're going to have to do something. So I kind of feel like he's kind of played himself into a corner by being so disgruntled, and then suspending him for contact detrimental to the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they kind of maybe played this one a little bit wrong.
I mean, I guess, but like it would go one or two ways, right? It's either he's going to come back and he's going to feel some type of way and go out there and play whatever type of way that he feels like in his mind that he's going to play out there in the court, or he's going to step away and take those fines, which I don't think he's going to be taking those fines. He's too much of a smart person in reality to be just sitting at home taking fines for not playing the game that he loves. And obviously he says that he doesn't love playing right now, but I don't think it's because of the team and the coaching and everything that's going on the court physically. I think it's because of what's going on during the front office with Pat Riley and others, to be frank. And he's just feeling some type of way. And
hey, is he back to emo Jimmy or what? Is that what's going on here or what? What's going on with that?
No, bro. It's just that I'm pretty sure that Pat seems like he is a petty individual. And you've seen it with Dwayne Wade. You've seen it with LeBron James. You've seen it with Tim Hardaway. You've seen it with Shaq. And the list goes on and on. He does not put players before the organization. He puts the organization before the players, and he doesn't like to pay players. And he doesn't want to sign Jimmy to an extension of what Jimmy wants. And Jimmy wants $112 million for the next 2 years, which would be $54 million in a year. Pat Riley doesn't want to pay someone that is only going to pay 50 to 60 games, which I kind of understand. But Jimmy has gotten us to points that we haven't been to in a while since Dwayne Wade and LeBron and Chris Bosh. So, I feel like we should pay the man, and it is what it is, and we take the heat, but we got to trade for other pieces to help Jimmy. If we're not trading for other pieces to help Jimmy, then okay, I get it. Trade away the biggest asset we have to get more assets in return.
Yeah, I just wonder what haul you're going to be able to get for Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. I mean, especially Tyler Hero at this point has shown that he's, he'll put up some gaudy numbers every now and then, but when it comes down to it, when you need him most, he vanishes.
I mean,
shout out to BG again, man. He's on fire this morning, man. He's been checking in a bunch with us this morning, man. So shout out to BG.
Miami out there that he's trying to get away from. That's right. I saw that today.
Sorry, Jimbo. Huh?
That child support money, man.
Yeah, man.
50K.
Dude, you gotta learn from Tyreek, man. Learn from Tyreek.
He's paying fucking child support.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we're gonna move on from the Heat. BC, what's your bold one of your bold predictions for 2025, my man?
I'll start off first with one that's maybe not so bold compared to the rest. This will kind of be an easy one in my opinion, but you already see the Bucs shirt on right here, man. My bold prediction for 2025, of course, you see the man up on the screen right now, the legend himself, Mike Evans, 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. This next upcoming season, I'm predicting he will break Jerry Rice's all-time record of consecutive 1,000-yard seasons at 12. I feel like just the way the offense has been gelling in Tampa so far this year, even with the loss of Chris Godwin, he's still able to figure it out. The way Liam Cohen runs the offense, the way Baker Mayfield and him have that connection. And then again, you get I am almost certain Chris Godwin is going to be back next season. You have him back to kind of take some of that pressure off of Mike. I think that it's just the perfect storm for Evans to easily get number 12 and really cement himself as an all-time great and potentially shift the conversation towards, is he a Hall of Famer, to now, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, and Jalen McMillan's starting to come into his own a little bit too. So next year could be a big year for Godwin, McMillan, and Evans. I don't think that's out of the question at all for Evans. That's just less pressure. Who are you going to guard? And Bucky Irving coming into his own. You got White coming into his own as well. That's gonna be a hell of an offense. Hopefully Cohen can stay.
Shout out to Cade Otton as well, proving himself to be
Cade Otton,
reliable third down target at tight end. So many guys on that offense that can really help take the load off Mike, especially as he gets into those later seasons for sure in his career.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's out of the question too, and I think you're right. I think that's going to submit him. I think he's a first round first ballot Hall of Famer regardless. But I think if you put him in the 12K, put it for 12 and 1,000 yards every year, I don't think there's any question. He already has the ring. There's what else he got, and there's no off-field issues. You go Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens is probably one of the greatest of all time, but he kind of a bad, always had a bad attitude kind of thing. A lot of people didn't like him, so I think that's why he got second year. Mike Evans, never a problem. Straightforward guy, always balls out. Great player, great dude. So yeah, I think that prediction is very doable without a doubt.
And people that I think the biggest knock people will have on his resume is the Pro Bowl nods, but again, that's because whenever he consistently gets close, 1,000 to 1,200 yards, that's great in any season. But the problem is that sometimes you have these guys that are one and dones, like Odell, that maybe have 2 or 3 years where they'll post up 1,500 yards, then you'll never hear from them again. So that's pretty much been his only weakness, is that he doesn't have those fantastically amazing seasons that just set records or whatever. But again, consistent greatness every single year. You're always going to get 10 to 1,200 yards. You're always going to get 7 to 10 touchdowns at least from Mike Evans. I think something that goes underrated with Mike Evans as well is the freaking resume of quarterbacks the guy's caught passes from. And to still be able to put up 11 years of 1,000 yards at least. And it's not just 1,000 yards exactly. It's always over, So that's impressive as hell. Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Big Josh McCown.
Josh McCown. It is amazing that this dude's been able to, no matter who's out there, give me the ball, I'm going to get it done. So yeah, I think that's a good, a very doable, bold prediction, and he's going to set the records. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go with mine, and I might be just because Florida just came off that huge win against Tennessee the other night, but my prediction is going to be the Florida Gators basketball team is at least, if not in the national championship, at least making the Final Four this year. Okay. Crazy as it is, SEC has been always been a football school, Now it's all of a sudden turned into an all-around sports. They got baseball going, they got basketball going too. Right now, the top 25, I believe, 10 teams out of the top 25 are all in the SEC. The SEC is coming on strong with basketball, and Florida is looking pretty damn impressive. I thought they would jump up a hell of a lot more than they did since they did knock off the number 1 team. They lost by 6 to Kentucky the other day, so that's another top-ranked opponent. But I think they'll be making the tournament without a doubt. And on top of the 2, I think they're going to make a hell of a run in the tournament, at least making the Final Four. So that's my bold prediction for the Florida Gators. And if you can't tell, I'm a little Florida Gators biased today. Made a little bit of preview of the next one. All right, G Mike, you're up next, man. What's your second prediction?
I wish I could say the same for the University of Miami, but it just went from
Larinaga
ugly.
just left.
Everybody
I'm
left.
out.
Everybody left.
I'm out.
All the
I mean-
players, now the coaches, everybody. It's just the whole
I will say, as bad as that is, I think probably USF takes the cake in terms of basketball tragedy this year. Obviously, with losing Coach Raheem or Abdul Rahim, and then just I think the players have just like it's just not been the same without him. But yeah, at least one of our teams is going to have, I think, a good season this year for sure. And so at least it's a Florida team and not
I
like
agree
Kentucky.
with Steve though. I think that they're going to be good. They're definitely going to make the tournament.
Yeah.
I think that they go far. Maybe not Final Four, but I would say at least Elite Eight. I would say that they make. But
I'd be happy with it.
It'll be a good run for the game.
Go back to those Billy Donovan, Joakim Noah, Al Horford days. I'm for it.
Oh, that was good times. That was great times.
Yeah.
All right, so Mr. G Mike, man, you're up next, my man. What is your second bold prediction?
Man, I believe the Miami Dolphins will finally win a playoff game, man. I think that they will finally get it done. The last 3 to 4 years have been hell for them when it comes to injuries, when it comes to unluckiness, when it comes to just not having the faith there together as a team. I think the football gods are going to bless them this season. They're going to be able to make the playoffs, and they're going to get at least a win, either one win or 2 wins. It'll be dope to see, to see the city of Miami experience that AFC championship, or even just getting to the AFC championship game. But I think they're going to win one game for sure. I think they're going to, like I said, they're going to get into the playoffs. They're going to win one game, and I think Tua is going to actually, like I said, the last 2-3 years, they've been hit with a lot of injuries, and Tua have been at the forefront of that. But I think next season, the football gods are going to bless him, and he's not going to get injured, and he's going to play a full season and go into the playoffs.
Fingers crossed for him, man. You never want to see a player deal with injuries like that.
Yeah,
so it'd be a great story.
We'll get into probably more Miami in the offseason. Obviously they're unfortunately didn't make the playoffs. I did pick them to go to the Super Bowl, so I'm not. This isn't a take that's against Miami. I did pick them to go to the Super Bowl, so I want to make that clear first off. I think Miami really, really needs to invest in a backup quarterback. That's something they absolutely need to do in the offseason. They let Mike White go, which I thought that was kind of weird in the offseason, but they need to get a legitimately good. I don't know if it's. I don't even know whoever's going to be available, but go after a legit good quarterback that's a backup, because that was Miami's downfall. Miami is still a good team. I think they could still make some noise if they were able to make the playoffs. They were only out by a game. So I think they really need to invest in a backup quarterback, and that will cause their problems, because let's face it, Tua, his entire career since he's been in the pros, I don't think he's completed a full season since he's been in the pros. And if he has, it's been at least 1 game, maybe 2 games, something like that. I do think he has. But having said that, I think Miami would be extremely benefited by getting a legitimately good backup quarterback, and that way just keeps them in the hunt. If Tua's going to miss 1 or 2 games, and I had a conversation with my buddy last night about it, and we were talking about Miami. Big Miami Dolphins fan, so shout out to Scott. So having said that, whenever, if you think about it, because Miami scores a lot of points, if they would get up, why not just take Tua out, just to keep him safe from himself? I know there's incentives involved, but take Tua out sometimes. Let him take a little break or so, something like that, because he's so.
Yeah, but the injuries don't happen at the end of the game, though. It'd be happening at the beginning of the game most of the time when it comes to Tua.
Yeah, you're right. And you can't predict that. But yeah, I think Miami would be extremely benefited by getting a legitimately good backup quarterback. And even if you got to pay him a little bit, let's face it, your franchise guy, you already paid Tua, he's going to be there. How about just pay somebody else to cover your own ass on that one?
Okay, so now that, my bad, BC, but just so I don't forget this question. So now that you said that, do you think they should draft the QB in the draft? Either first round, second round, or third round? Now, fourth, fifth, and sixth, I would say that's 100% guaranteed that they do. But I'm saying the early rounds, when you can get some O linemen, when you can get some defensive linemen, because their defensive linemen have been depleted because of health as well, or receiver, because you don't know what's going to happen with Tyreek Hill. Maybe he stays, maybe he doesn't. But for the first 3 rounds, do you draft the quarterback?
Oh, let's go first, BC. Go ahead.
I mean, I tend to lean more in the camp of save it for later rounds. I mean, look at Milton over in up in New England right now. Like, he balled out in his career debut. I mean, granted, yeah, it was last game of the season, tank bowl pretty much for them. But no, I think G Mike's kind of more on the money in terms of, like, invest in your offensive line, invest in skill positions. That like again, we talk about having a great backup quarterback, and yes, that is a good thing to have. But like, why don't you just invest in your starting offensive line? What like, look at the Bucks. They shelled out money for their star left tackle, and it's paying dividends now with an All-Pro selection. You need to start bringing in some guys that can protect him. If you know he's a glass cannon, like the second somebody lays a hand on him, it's going to be a concussion. Make sure nobody gets a hand on him. They have the best offensive line in football, and it's not like they're starving for cap space. Like, yeah, they invested a lot in Tyreek and Tua, but you can find offensive linemen that are good. You just got to invest in that, as opposed to, okay, now we need to draft a quarterback in the first round, even though in the second or third rounds, even though now we got a franchise guy. Just invest in the players around him, and he'll be fine, I think.
So to answer your question, no, I don't think they do that in the draft. I could see them going after a veteran. I think that would be better because this year is kind of a weaker class for quarterbacks. So I wouldn't waste the pick. I kind of agree with what both you guys are saying about wide receiver and offensive line. The defense needs a little bit of help as well, but I would not draft a guy. I don't think this year is worth it this year. Get a guy, like, let's go with a perfect example. Your boys, the Cowboys, man, Cooper Rush. Say what you want about the guy, but the guy can play. And Dallas, was pretty much over whenever he was showcasing what he can do. But if you get a guy like Cooper Rush, you know that Tua's unfortunately going to miss probably 1 or 2 games. But a guy like that can keep you relevant, keep you going. So if I was them, I would go after a veteran. A little bit if you have to. Hell, Trubisky, or get some guy that could fit the mold of what they kind of do. Go after Trey Lance. I know Trey Lance maybe kind of sucks or something like that, but a mobile guy, someone that kind of fits what they're actually doing and that they can stay relevant. And I think that's where wrong is shell out a little bit of cash for the guys and actually get someone that's relevant.
Bring in the pastronaut, Josh Dobbs. I want to see it.
There you go. Yeah, someone like Josh Dobbs, and like New England did. They had Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is going to just be enough to get you by. He's not obviously going to be your starter or anything like that, and they did it right. Drake May looks pretty good. They waited a little while. They let him improve and all that, but I think they should just invest in a backup quarterback. No, and I wouldn't go in the draft with this one. They need too many other things, and I agree with you. Offensive line would be one to protect your franchise guy, considering you guys just paid him a boatload of money.
Yeah, for sure. Round one of that draft, Miami Dolphins have to go offensive line. If they don't, I'm sorry, I don't know what you guys are doing. And then the second pick, they got to go defensive line because you saw Jaden Phillips wasn't there, and I forget the other guy's name. Number 2, he came from the Broncos. Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb wasn't there either. He was out for the whole year. And then obviously Christian Wilkins went to the Raiders, so they lost their whole defensive line if we were putting it into perspective. So it's like now you don't have a pass rush, and any team is running up on you like it's nothing. So it's like I think those two for sure. And just like BC mentioned right now, corners. I mean, the corners, they're not like a super necessity. I think it's more of the fact that if you don't have a defensive line that can pressure the quarterback, it's hard for corners to stay on top level receivers for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah,
unless you need a pass rush for your defense to be good. If your pass rush is not good, dude, I'm sorry. Or your pass or rush defense from the defensive line specifically, if it's not good, you're not going to be a good NFL defense.
That's
Bradley Chubb is the biggest waste of money. Holy crap, BG says.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only played a few games in the 2 years that he's been there.
Yeah. Again, like 2020 Super Bowl, Bucks Niners, they had an amazing pass rush. They had some solid corners with Dean and Davis, but they look like world beaters back there with Mahomes barely having time to throw. Got to do it.
All right, BC, you're up now. What's your next prediction for 2025, man?
All right, so this one's going to be a little bit more of a bold take. We're going to step off the gridiron, go to the diamond here with my prediction, and it is going to be that the Tampa Bay Rays stadium drama is going to continue. You thought we reached the end when Pinellas County and St. Pete decided to finally vote on the bonds, but I think that this story is far from over, everybody. I am predicting that this year at Steinbrenner Field, in the Yankees' home, spring training home, mind you, that the Rays are going to have more sellouts than they ever have at the Trop. Granted, I know it's a smaller park. It's going to be a little bit easier to do, but prices are going to be more expensive. But again, I feel like attendance is not going to be that much far off than from what we've seen in the Trop. That stadium has been mostly empty. I can attest to that. And I think that it's going to be more packed, like the state in terms of like percentage wise. And I honestly think that this is going to reignite conversation talks in the team wanting to move from St. Pete to Tampa. It's going to get dragged out even more. And I know people are going to be like, but Pinellas County already voted on it. They already did it. No, it's not over with. Like we thought it was over back in or last year when the county, or no, back in 23 when they first voted on it that they're here to stay. Hurricane Milton came in and changed up all of that. So I just think that this is going to be another year of drama, and I honestly do not think that we are going to finally have the groundbreaking anything like that until like 2026. Just again, it's going to be a wild year for sure.
But
And here, I was thinking you're going to say they're coming to Orlando, man. How about that, Orlando Rays? Oh, that's
we should get a baseball team though, bro. Like, dude, like Orlando's one of the top cities in America for destinations when people want to come.
One of the most visited cities in the world.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't we have a football team? Why don't we have a baseball team? Like, we have the Orlando Magic, and they're doing great right now. Shout out to them. But you need more sporting events here. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, Orlando City had a great run, and I honestly like
soccer, bro.
Dang! Don't let anyone see this on here, man. He's watching us right now.
Yeah, no, he's a karate guy.
That's true. I like the idea though of having. I like Tampa and Orlando kind of being like kind of like a two city area where it's like one has like basketball, soccer, the other one's got the other sports. I like that idea, like the I-4 corridor connecting them. The problem is that the Rays are still playing in St. Pete. Nobody wants to go to St. Pete, and I feel like more fans would come to the games if it was in Tampa. And
you got to drive an hour and a half to go watch a baseball game if you're living in Orlando, bro. No, man. No, like bring a team over here. It's gonna create revenue for the city and the league.
Disney could easily make that work. He could easily have the sponsorship with Disney. You could easily make that work.
Easy,
I agree.
And that's why I like the idea of having at least, like the Rays have their spring training home in Port Charlotte. Why would you want to do, of all places, you want to appeal to a larger demographic? Why is it down there? If anything, move your spring training.
Red Sox are in Fort Myers.
Yeah, but again, that's Boston though. Like that, they're far removed from their thing. Same thing with the Yankees. My thing is, it's like if you want to bring in more people, more local people to your product, go to the biggest hub that is, and it's already like 45 minutes to an hour away from St. Pete. So like, just might as well make it in Orlando. Get the Disney sponsorship from there. Bring the Orlando crowds in. And if you go to Tampa, that's cutting half an hour to 45 minutes off of that drive. You're looking at like an hour at the most for, depending on where you're at in Orlando, like to go to a Rays game. And again, if you do spring training, you could have your minor league team there. You've got that connection. You've got that connection between the I-4 corridor. It works a lot better than let's stay in St. Pete.
Yeah, I agree. I think Orlando should get a team, and I think that you're right. That St. Pete is a great city. It's a cute little town, but I definitely think that Tampa would be a better suited in Tampa.
Make it your AAA affiliate. Why don't you? Like, make it your AAA team, the Orlando Dreamers. Make it your highest level minor league affiliate. Have it at Wide World of Sport. There you go. Well, that's what I was hearing. That was supposed to be like the name when they originally started.
I didn't like the name either.
But insert any other thing you want to do.
Yeah,
so
there was another one like the
Orlando
Apollos
Wizards
or something along those lines. Something
There's
like
already
that.
Orlando Magic, make it Wizards. City of Magic because of Disney and all this.
Yeah, just do something like that.
Sorcerers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But like something like that to where make them your highest minor league affiliate. You've got the stadiums over there. And you just have that. And also, too, when you need to call up a player from like AAA or something like that, it's not a hassle going from Durham to Tampa. They're literally right down the road.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Daytona Cubs, or excuse me, Tortugas now. I'll show my age on but we have the Daytona Tortugas, which does really well. They used to. I don't think they play anymore. They used to have the Orlando Cubs as well, Tinker Field. So it can work. They already have the stadium for it. But yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go with mine. And like I was saying before, I'm a little high on Florida sports right now. And I'm going to go with the Florida Gators next year for college football are going to make the college football playoff without a doubt and possibly have a first-round bye. I am huge on DJ Lagway. I think he's going to make a huge improvement. I love how the team came together at the end of the year. Billy Napier, I've been high on Billy Napier, and been a lot of people are calling for his job. I thought that was crazy. I think the guy is a great coach. He's a great team builder. So I predict going into next year, Florida Gators will make the college football playoffs, and I will also predict that they will be a top 10 preseason team.
What a nightmare.
Dang.
BG man. Is that where UM fans? UM fans. So it's always.
Hey, you know what? If we were to play it again at the end of the season, you play that game, I think it'll be a different outcome. I think it'll be a different outcome, man. I think Miami kind of showed their true colors.
Bro, we had the top 10. We had the top offense in all of college football, bro. All of college football.
You guys pretty much watched the game. You guys watched the game we did from home.
Your defense was pretty bad. Not horrible. It wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst, but it was pretty bad, dude. You guys couldn't keep up with us.
Can't you guys just like come together and just collectively take a dump on Florida State, man? Like, can't we all just get along right now? Like, come on,
100%.
There you go, man. Let's
stretch.
Let's keep it a buck, man. Can't we all just get along?
There we go.
But I could see UF making the college football player for sure. It's just
I think UF is going to have a hell of a year next year. This year, they technically, by pretty much anybody can say it, they had the toughest schedule in the country. Almost every week was pretty much a ranked opponent, including Miami. The start of the season, Florida had a hell of a stretch. And if you go back to it, the last 4 to 5 games, they almost beat Georgia. They almost beat Tennessee. They should have went forward for in that Tennessee game. They should have beat both them. DJ Lagway goes out in the Florida game against Georgia. I think Florida would have been looked at a little bit differently. So I'm really high on Florida. They're possibly switching Dallas Baker from Oregon. He wants to come back to Florida. That was going to be a big wide receiver pickup there. So I really am high on Florida Gators next year for football. All right, BC, your last bold prediction of 2025. What you got, my man?
All right, well, we're going to kind of keep the Orlando theme going right now, and this probably might be my boldest just in terms of if you were to go based off Vegas odds, but I would say for my final bold prediction 2025, Tristan Da Silva from your Orlando Magic is going to win the Rookie of the Year for this season.
Whoa, okay.
Dude,
okay.
I'm just saying, this recent run where Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Mo Wagner, everybody's getting hurt at the Magic, and he has been so consistent. He's shown flashes of incredible play, and I think that as you start getting, if this injury shuffle keeps continuing, like Paolo's going to be injured, then Jalen, then Franz, and it's just never ending, then I think we're going to get more Da Silva, and I think that he has earned himself a place in the starting lineup. He has shown just all around great consistent play. Like, he's been able to score at just about every level. He's been able to do his fair share of getting his boards, getting his assists, also playing solid defense as well for Coach Mo in that just great all-around team defensive scheme. And again, I think that if everybody's healthy come playoff time too, it would not surprise me to see him in the starting lineup. I love KCP. I think that he brings a great veteran leadership to this team as well. But I would also love to start seeing some lineups of Jalen Suggs, Da Silva, Wagner, Banchero, and then Goga Batadze at the 5. But I think that Tristan Da Silva for sure has earned his place in terms of being considered, at least on that all-rookie team for the All-Star game, the Rising Stars, whatever you want to call it. And that's my bold take. I think that he's going to keep earning minutes, and it would not surprise me as some of these other rookies who are getting more high usage than him, they're not on as great teams as him. It would not surprise me to see defenses figuring them out a little bit sooner, shutting them down a little bit early in the season as Da Silva just continues to rise because he's got so many other weapons around him.
Bold take, man. Bold take. I like it, though. I like it.
The only reason I would push back on that is if Jared McCain did not get injured, I think he takes it wholeheartedly from that. But since he got injured, he's going to be out for the rest of the season. He's not going to qualify for that. So I could see Tristan Da Silva up there for sure.
Gives you just a little bit of everything at every level.
But my dog, Kel Ware, he's getting more minutes now. He's playing more now. Don't be surprised if he becomes a starter. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good Miami Orlando showdown in the Rookie of the Year for sure. You guys just got to make the playoffs, man. I wanna see that. And BG, appreciate the love as well, saying that we could definitely make a playoff push. This team, the way they have matured in the last few seasons, Coach Mo has them all bought in on team chemistry. And again, they get everybody back. This year is not going to be, I think, the year that they show themselves as contenders, but I think they could be one of those surprise playoff teams for sure. Because again, you got to have
100%.
depth, and you got to get Mo back next year.
I love how Orlando is kind of constructed as well. Like there is, besides Paolo, Franz is becoming a star, but Paolo is definitely like the mainstay, the big star kind of thing. But they don't have like a bunch of stars, but everybody balls out, everybody plays hard, everybody plays like, and they're making a name.
That is the thing right there. What you just said, they play hard every single night. They're out there giving 100. Every player on that team is going out there giving 110%. And that's exactly
no one's worried about getting no one's worried about points. No one's worried about any of that stuff. They just want to win and they play hard. And shout out to Jamal Mosley, man. That guy is a hell of a coach. I love him in press conferences. He's a guy you would want your kid to play for. Shout out to Jamal Mosley, man. Fantastic.
You got Coach of the Year candidate and Coach Mo. You've got.
I think hands down him. I think, or I mean, you can go Oklahoma Cities. I can't name who it is, but you can name Oklahoma Cities.
Well, he's in that running. But yeah, you got Coach Mo as a Coach of the Year candidate. You got Paolo as an All-NBA. Franz is an All-Star level player. And then you've got basically the rest of your starters, your KCPs and your Jalen Suggs is all defensive candidates. Even Goga Batadze at the rim is an all-defensive candidate. So like,
Goga, man, like, he's been getting some moments too, man.
Good and then even J.I. and Mo before he was hurt, they were looking like 6 men of the year type ballers. Like this whole team has talent at every level and every single way you need it, whether it's scoring, whether it's somebody to be able to bring up the ball, somebody to be able to shut down opposing players in defense. And Franz has stepped up on the defensive end this year too. Like he's been
Franz.
Franz, we loves the defense.
Franz,
we loves the big forwards right there that plays a very physical European style.
We love the two brothers, Franz and Mons and Wagner.
Franz Wagner from Brazzamore. Yeah, we love to see it. Oh, we love the Germans here in Orlando.
His brother's not gonna come back though, right?
Nah. He just had ACL surgery. He'll be out for this year. That's why I'm saying this year they could be a surprise playoff team that maybe makes it, into the second or even into the conference finals. But next year, when Mo's back, everybody gets healthy. That's when it's like, okay, like this team's got depth, they got star power, they got lockdown D, and they can score from just about anywhere. That you better watch out. And then again, too, speaking of the Germans, we love the Silva. Shout out, he is the German. The Silva, yeah. So it's
Jürgen.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we're gonna. So interesting, kind of funny how this thing kind of goes. We were all talking about our pre-show. We're talking about our bold picks or whatever, and I really thought I had a sleeper in here. And then G Mike lets me know we almost had the exact same thing going on. I went a little bit further. So without further ado, me and G Mike will do this one together. It's all about Alex Pereira. Hey, I getting better at it, right? I get my Spanish.
Pereira. Chama.
Yeah.
Chama.
So G Mike, why don't you go ahead and do yours because I went a little bit further. So you can go ahead and go first, my man.
So my prediction was, because a lot of people believe that this fight won't be going on between John Jones and Alex Pereira this year. Look, I even said it wrong right there.
Wow.
I think it will happen. I think it will happen probably towards the end of the year, anytime in December. And I know with Steve is going a little bit different route on this when it comes to result of it. But my prediction was just that the fight will happen. Steve, you can take it away there.
Yeah, man. So so this one, mine's a little bit more in depth than this one. I think what's going to happen is John Jones is actually going to take on Aspinall. I think that's going to happen. I think he's going to dominate him.
That's going to happen for sure. I think
I'm
it's already
predicting
planned.
About December, something along those lines. December, they're going to have a end of the year fight, and I think Pereira is going to beat him. I think John Jones will retire after he's done. I think this will be John Jones' final fight, and John Jones is excited for this fight, so it's gonna be the best. And I the heater that Pereira is on right now, it's the only person he can say that's been doing it like this is John Jones himself. John Jones is excited about it. Now they just came out about a day or so ago that his team, Pereira's team, said that they need about 6 months to train for this one, so he can get it back up to speed, about the power, because he is going to have to go into weight. He is light heavyweight, excuse me. But having said that, though, man, I think this would be an awesome fight. UFC needs this to happen. It's the two biggest stars. Dana White's been pretty good about giving us what we've been asking for and wanting. So I think this fight will happen at the end of the year, come December time. Pereira Jones. Let's go this New Year's Eve. I don't know what actually day it's on this year, but having said that, give it to about December. And I think that Pereira, and not retiring John Jones, but John Jones will retire after the fight because there's no one else left for him that interests him.
Yeah, and you think Pereira is going to win? I'm sorry, BC.
I do. I think just because of his power. Now Jones is taking on everybody that you can't say much. You can't say anything negative about Jones when it comes to the fighting ring, man. The guy can do it all. He's so elusive. he's an amazing fighter. He's the GOAT. I mean, I think there's no question anymore about it. I just really like the way Pereira's fighting. Now, the biggest thing would be if he takes him to the ground.
And that's gonna happen. And
Yeah,
that's gonna happen because he's
really seen him
intelligent,
on the
baby.
ground.
He's intelligent. That's why he's the greatest ever.
Yeah, so John Jones would most likely take him to the ground because John Jones has a hell of a ground game as well. So that would be the biggest determining factor. And if they got 6 months to train for it, maybe he can actually get a little bit better. We've never seen him on the ground because he's just knocking people out. So like I get people haven't figured out, don't get close to him. I don't know. But yeah, that's my bold. That's G Mike and I's bold prediction that John Jones and Pereira will finally get that bout going on. I'm taking a little bit further and saying Jones Aspinall is going to happen pretty soon. Jones is going to whoop his ass, and then after that point, Pereira Jones.
Well, that fight's already set, no? I think
no, not yet. Not yet. I guess Jones is asking. Apparently, according to rumors, Jones is asking for like 30 million or some large amount of money. In John Jones' defense, he's earned that right, man. He can claim whatever he wants. I mean, he's
one of the reasons why the UFC is where it's at. With Conor McGregor too, and other athletes in the UFC, but still, John Jones is one of the reasons. For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I will say
every fight he's taken, he's dominated. It's not like there's only been, I would say, 2 people, Gustafsson, and I want to say maybe one other guy. Who was the guy? I mean, Reyes, I think it was, maybe, or something. There's only been 2 fights I've seen that I was like, man, he might have lost that one. But then he ended up fighting that same guy again and then, dominating after that point. And then hell, even what's his name? Does the show with DC. God, they fought. God, what was his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
He was on friggin' roids and still couldn't beat him.
I think.
Thanks for checking in, Scott, man. I agree, man. John Jones is going to have a handful of fights. The first full fights up, man. Thanks for checking in, Scott. I totally agree, man. I know we were talking about this last night, and I'm like super excited for this one to happen, man. I think that's going to be. I think it's going to happen, man.
Yeah, for me. Sorry, BC, just to chime in on his result prediction. For me, I think John Jones wins just because of the simple fact that he will take him to the ground. And Pereira, we have not seen Pereira fight anybody when he goes take him to the ground. So I would not put my money on that to say that Pereira can beat him on the ground game because we have not seen it. And John Jones is an intelligent fighter, and he's gonna know, if I stand up with this guy for the whole 5 rounds, I might get knocked out. So you know what? I need to chill and take him to the ground and do what I need to do.
Here goes Steve Miocic. Miocic is a striker as well, and he took him to the ground, he ended up being KOing him, but still, like you're right. He's a smart fighter. He's not gonna let you do what you do best.
Yeah, think about the amount of times we've seen strikers and grapplers go out in UFC history. How many times has the striker won out, especially once the fight gets taken to the ground?
That's been the new thing for UFC, really, is although the Russian fighters, man, they're just superior wrestlers, and they've been taking every striker out of the game. And so I don't know if that'll be the same thing that'll happen if this fight does happen, but I do think it's going to happen. And I think it's gonna be exciting, man. I don't know. I'm excited. I think Pereira's gonna win this one. I'm not gonna lie.
And I think as well, like with regards to Jones as well, like George alluded to earlier, he's intelligent. He's smart enough to make this fight all about him. And how many times have we seen it? Like, he doesn't dominate opponents through the conventional means. Like, he's not going to dominate you on the ground with like vicious ground and pound. He's not going to dominate you with on the feet because he's got reach. He does have a reach advantage over most of his opponents because of his long arms, his long build. But we've seen him just dominate with his mind. If he knows, like when in the Rampage fight, he did not try to engage Rampage on the feet so much. Like, he didn't try to let him get in close. He tried to keep him back. He tried to keep him far, and he just hit him with jabs. He'd take him to the ground. He'd take his best game out of it. And that to me is what makes Jones such a lethal fighter and the greatest fighter of all time, is that he doesn't lean into his opponent's strength. He takes his opponent's strengths out of the equation, and then he just leans into, okay, if this is something where I can't win in a slugfest, I'm not gonna be able to knock this dude out. I'm gonna take it to the scorecard, and I'm just gonna win by getting points. He does it a lot of times like Mayweather. He knows the sport. He wins the game. He wins the fight, not necessarily. He wins the match, not the fight, so to say. Yeah. He's going to win out on the judges' scorecard if he's got to do it. And so, for me, that's where I would give.
Anyway, if you want to take it to the ground, he can wrestle with you. If you want to just stand up and brawl, he can do that too. Jones is just an all-around amazing fighter. I think that there was for a little bit people trying to say like who is the greatest. I think it's hands down that he is the greatest. I don't think there's any kind of debate about that anymore. The longevity that he's had in his career, the guy's unstoppable. I think the only loss he's had was one of his first fights, and I believe it was a punch to the back of the head, some sort of disqualification.
Yeah, no, it was. I think a 12-6 elbow.
Right, exactly. So it wasn't as if he actually got beat. It was a fluky thing. He didn't really know the rules per se. John Jones is unbeatable, man.
His biggest enemy
until he fights Pereira.
His biggest enemy we've seen over his career has been himself, and that's pretty much it. And the last thing I'll say,
his out of the ring stuff has been a mystery. You know, like he's had all kinds of stuff happen, good and bad. But
the last thing I'll say about this fight, the feels I get from it, just going, again, because I started watching UFC like back in like mid 2000s, like the kind of big fight feel I get from this is BJ Penn versus GSP, like that. Yeah. Like to see like two of the greatest at that point in time, one of them moving up to welterweight with BJ Penn fighting both of them in their primes. Like, yeah, you could maybe say John Jones, he hasn't been consistent like he used to, but still, like that to me, this has that kind of big fight feel where it's like two alpha dogs near their physical peaks. They're just fight peaks. It's going to be an amazing fight.
In a weird way, that almost makes him so much better because he's not fighting every 2-3 months. He's taken like a year off and still come back and still dominated. Like his fights, the last few fights, have they gone past the third round, maybe fourth round max kind of thing? Yeah. Like the guy is just dominant. But
I think this will be the one. I think this will be the one fight where this does go in the championship rounds, and I do predict it's going to go with the judges' scorecard. And I will have John Jones. I'm going to have him win. I'm going to have him win by split decision, but it's going to be that close. But I think he'll do just enough. There's going to be that one judge that is going to value, the striking, like the significant strikes, and he'll give the edge to Pereira. But then I think everyone else is going to be like, no, like Jones won with points, and I think that's where the split's going to come in.
All right. Well, yeah, man, it's going to be a hell of a year. It's 2025. Like we're saying, it sounds crazy to say 2025. But so just as a quick recap, BC, why don't you give me your 3, G Mike, and then I'll give you my 3 again real quick just as a recap.
Yep. So my 3 bold predictions for 2025, Mike Evans passes Jerry Rice on the consecutive 1,000-yard seasons with 12. I got the Tampa Bay Rays stadium drama continuing with them having more sellouts at Steinbrenner than they ever had at the Trop. And then Tristan Da Silva is going to take home the Rookie of the Year for this season.
Yeah, I got Pipe Riley stepping down as president of basketball operations for the Miami Heat. I got the Miami Dolphins finally winning a playoff game since 25 years ago. And I got the John Jones and Alex Pereira fight actually happening at the end of this year, sometime in mid-December.
All right, I got the Florida Gators basketball team making it to the Final Four at least. I have the Florida Gators making the college football playoffs next year and being a top 10 preseason ranked team next year. And I also have the John Jones-Pereira fight happening and Pereira actually beating John Jones. Man, I'm excited for this year to come, man. We got so much good stuff coming up, man.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, so that wasn't the only thing going on for the year, man. We also had what's this new thing we got going on, the college football playoff, and we had a Thursday and a Friday game. So we're gonna go and start with the Thursday game, man. We had Notre Dame taking on Penn State. And man, what an interesting game this one was, man. G Mike, what was your thoughts on this game, man? We got the Notre Dame coming out with the win in the last second, man.
Yeah, man, I thought the first half of this game was pretty slow. I think both defenses were playing really good in the first half, and both offenses were kind of sluggish, even though Penn State was running the ball really well, while Notre Dame, they only have 15 rush yards in that first half, so it was pretty bad for them. And they lost Riley Leonard, their starting quarterback, to an injury, but it was a temporary injury because he comes back in the second half, and right out the gate of the second half, he's turning on the jets. He's throwing some flames out there. He goes down in that first drive, ends up scoring. Now both defenses are depleting in the second half. Both offenses are now scoring at will. Notre Dame, they just came out in the end with a field goal in the last second to win the game. And to me, the biggest thing about this game that was wild to me was that Penn State receivers had no catches, no receiving yards, and no touchdowns. And that is a recipe for disaster if you want to win a high-profile game like this. If your offense is not clicking on both passing and rushing, and you're only able to rush the ball and not pass the ball, you're not going to win, bro. You're not going to win.
Yep.
Yeah, and if I had a takeaway in this one, it was kind of wild. I would not have thought either one of these teams, to be honest with you, were going to be in this position they were in. So that was kind of interesting to see both teams in this position. But I'm going to go a little bit positive for Penn State here, I guess. And it would be the fact that I can't wait for their tight end. I'm glad the season's over so that guy can go to the NFL because he's going to be the next Travis Kelce, Brock Bowers, whatever it is. That guy is a do-it-all, man. That guy is awesome. His name is Tyler something, I believe it is. His name's slipping me at the moment. But if I had to take away anything, I'm excited that Penn State has done to this guy. Can't get injured. He can go pro and just dominate the league, man. But, yeah, it was a costly interception at the end of the game, and he was trying to throw it away. And, it did not work out in his favor at all. So you kind of feel bad for the guy. He was Drew Aller was extremely emotional at the end of the game. So Franklin did a good job of, consoling him. And on top of it, too, it just goes back to that narrative again. That's going to be the same thing again. James Franklin can't win the big one.
Yeah. And shout out, though, to Notre Dame as a whole anyway. Like, we gave them so much crap at the beginning of the playoffs because, they're an independent school. They didn't earn the seeding that they got. We had so much.
That was me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for me too, like I was just like, man, it's an independent. They need to join a conference, but they showed up and they play, like you said, like G Mike alluded to in the game. Their secondary shut out Penn State's wide receivers. So if you're NFL teams, you see any of these guys that are seniors or juniors declaring for the draft, circle them in. I know obviously again it's just one game, but you got some ballers in that secondary, and if you're Ohio State as well, spoiler alert there. Definitely, you need to watch this tape for sure because you're going to need to make sure that your wide receivers are on their A game against the shutdown secondary in Notre Dame. Again, like shout out to my boy Dallas Pope, man, from VCA the old days. He's big Notre Dame fan. They're going to be playing for the national championship. Hopefully, this one goes a lot better than their last time on the big stage against Nick Saban and Roll Tide, and that's to be the last time we mention them for this
Doubt
season.
it. Doubt it. But,
Doubt it.
Yeah, it was ended up being Notre Dame ended up finally getting that win, and they're moving on to the national championship game for the. So have you guys liked the college football playoff so far? Have you guys been interested in it? Do you think it worked out?
I definitely do.
Yeah, I still think they need to make some tweaks here and there with the seating for sure. But you want to obviously make sure that every game is entertaining and you don't have the amount of blowouts that you had that first week. And as well, like the amount of upsets that you've had, like the second week. So there's still some things to fine tune for sure. But as far as the semifinals go, like it was an exciting weekend for sure, or exciting week.
Yeah, well, that wasn't the only game that was played. We had a barn burner last night as well. We had the Texas Longhorns taking on Ohio State. Ohio State gets the win. And, man, Ohio State is looking freaking good right now, man. They have shown out since that loss to Michigan. That woke them up. They're playing like they should have been playing all year. They're one of the best teams in the country, hands down. Ohio State looks very, very impressive. I'll have to say I have to eat crow in this one too because let's go Week 5, Week 6, maybe in Week 8, somewhere there. I thought Texas was the most complete team in the country. I thought Texas was going to hands down just dominate everybody. And Texas really has kind of fallen flat. And I think this has really done a disservice to Quentin Ewers. Quentin Ewers, turns out, just doesn't look as good as he did in the early games. Maybe just dominating the bad teams. Ewers has made some really bad decisions in the games. Huge play right there if you're watching on the screen, though, too. That 83-yard strip sack for the running back to the house that sealed the game. But, yeah, man, Ohio State is looking pretty damn good, man. G-Mike, what's your thoughts on this one, bro?
Yeah, not really much more to say. I think you hit it all on the head. It was both defenses were playing great throughout the whole game. It was just a little – Ohio State's offense was just a little more better, as you can say, out there on the field, a little more poised. You saw the quarterback, he was doing some great throws and he was making some precision passes and getting his receivers where they needed to get to, while Ears wasn't really doing as much and he was getting rushed by that great defensive line. So it was hard for him. But I think if Ewers maybe would have moved around in the pocket a little more, maybe rolled out a little more, maybe they would have had more of a chance to win this game. But, with that last second sack force fumble that just turned into an 82-yard TD that you just saw up on your screen, that definitely just sealed the game right there and just ruined their hopes to win. Yeah.
Seems like for sure, like these two games, as far as the winners are concerned, it's dominating on defense through different ways. Ohio State with their pass rush, that's just, it's like you got pressure in the quarterback's face every other play. And then with Notre Dame dominating through the secondary, shutting down opposing teams' best receivers. So I'm excited to see we talked about it earlier with talking about the Dolphins with pass rush versus secondary. I'm excited to see which gives out first. Is it Notre Dame's secondary, or is Ohio State going to be able to get in a few receptions here or there that's able to gash them, or is that pass rush going to be shut down and Notre Dame going to be able to exploit not a weak secondary, but compared to the pass rush, a weaker secondary?
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I think Ohio State's gonna win by 2 touchdowns here. I mean, I know we're gonna get into it, but might as well just get into it now. Notre
Yeah.
Dame, Ohio State. I don't see Notre Dame putting up points against this Ohio State defense, and I see Ohio State's offense putting up points against that defense, even though that defense is great. But if you start the second half the way you did against Penn State, Ohio State's going to exploit that, and they're going to take advantage, and they're going to score on you at will.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you. In addition, if you look at the opponents in the college football semifinal, I definitely give Ohio State the nod. I think they definitely played the tougher team in Texas. Obviously, we're going to throw a little bit of SEC bias into it, which I'm glad we don't have an SEC team in the championship game this year. Like for a chance, I know Steve's giving me some side eye right there. I don't care. Like, dude, we've seen enough of the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Texases, horns down. Like SEC, take a seat.
It's so weird. We have a 10 in there. Whew.
Yeah,
see that one coming.
But yeah, I think
Big Ten SEC.
Yeah, man.
Wow, what a surprise!
But I think if you look at though Penn State versus Texas, I think you clearly see the difference in talent there, and so that's where for me my decision is going to be made as well. I think that's going to be closer than 2 touchdowns. I think that Notre Dame plays a little bit more with a chip on their shoulder in this one, but I don't by 1 score.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of time to get into it. The game's not until January 20th, so we'll definitely getting into it a lot more. I think we're all kind of maybe just a little bit of bias at the moment, kind of thing. Ohio State played last night, but Ohio State looks pretty damn good. That's without a doubt. So yeah, we got a lot of time to go with that one. To know Ohio State got the victory over Notre Dame, so we have the championship set now. Excuse me, not sorry, I say got the victory over Notre Dame. Excuse me, I messed that one up already. Maybe predictions there. Anyways, Ohio State got the win over Texas, and so the national championship game will be January 20th, and it'll be Ohio State and Notre Dame. Man, if you could have picked that one, I don't think many people had that one at the end of the year. So we're going to move to the college game, and we have the NFL Wild Card Weekend, one of the funnest weekends in sports. We're going to go and start with the Los Angeles Rams. They're actually playing on the Monday night game, so we're not just going in any kind of order here. We're just kind of having fun with this one. The wild card game, the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Minnesota Vikings, and we'd be remiss if we didn't give a shout-out to L.A. and all the people that are going through all the fires out there. This game actually got moved to Arizona because of all the wildfires going out there. So hopefully everybody's staying safe and can, get shelter and your families are safe. But you still got a football game to get to, so let's go ahead and get into that one. BC, buddy, what's your thoughts on this one, man? This is going to be a wild game here, man. Minnesota's pretty hot right now, and the Rams have just been playing great. They had pretty much to win out to get in, and they did it.
For sure, and both teams, I think, are playing with chips on their shoulders for different reasons. Obviously, LA, you alluded to it earlier, with the wildfires, they're going to be playing not just for themselves, they're going to be playing for their community. There's going to be, I think, a really big turnout for a lot of the LA fans going over to Arizona to support the team. And Minnesota, too. They're playing with a huge one because they had 14 wins on the season, yet they're the 5 seed. They're a wild card team in the playoffs. Like, that's going to piss them off a lot. Sam Darnold as well, having a career year. And this is going to be, I think, a shootout for sure. I don't think a lot of defense is going to be played in this one. And again, it's, what do we go? Do we go with the team that's been great during the regular season or the team that has that postseason experience? Granted, you're missing Aaron Donald, but you still have Matthew Stafford. I think that LA, with just everything, it's interesting to see that the home team in this matchup is the underdog. Yep. But I think that this is going to be the one underdog upset matchup that I got to give it to LA in this one. It's going to be slight, but I think that Sam Darnold's lack of experience when it comes to postseason is going to finally kind of bite him in the butt here, as great of a season as he's having. And I think that this is just going to be kind of his first reminder of like, hey, you still got a ways to go. And Matt Stafford, I think, is able to move on to the next round to play what I'm thinking is going to be, what I'm thinking is he's going to move on to the next round for another homecoming in Detroit.
Ooh, I like it. G-Mike, what's your thoughts, bro?
I agree with that last part that you're saying. I think we know for a fact that the Vikings are overall the best team, right, in this game. Both offenses are great. They have great receivers, great running backs, and great quarterbacks. And the offensive lines are just up to, I wouldn't say an amazing offensive line for each team, but they're up to par that they can protect for the quarterback and they could block for the running backs. But when it comes to defense, the Vikings are a way better team defensively than the Rams. The Rams are in the bottom half of the league when it comes to defense, pass and rush. The Vikings are like a little above the middle pack, so I would say a little above average. But I want to see what Sam Darnold's going to do in the postseason, because we've seen what Matthew Stafford can do. The guy can go out there and win games. He could go out there and win the last 2 minutes of the drive and win the game for you. But can Sam Darnold do that? Can we see what Sam Darnold can do in prime time wild card matchup if he can go out there, get the ball to Justin Jefferson, get the ball to Jordan Addison, get the ball to Aaron Jones consistently throughout the whole game to beat Matthew Stafford at his best? Because in the postseason, he is at his best. Can Sam Darnold do it? Is that the biggest question right there?
Yep.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like I'm the lone Sam Darnold guy here, man. I really like Sam Darnold. I think he's having a hell of a year. I like what he's did, the connection with Kevin O'Connell. I'm actually going to take the Vikings in this one. I think the Vikings have been playing fantastic football, man. They came up against a good Detroit team. Sam Darnold did seem a little rattled in that game, but that was one of the loudest arenas that you've heard all year. Detroit is a damn good team as well. They were fighting for that NFC North title in that one. But beginning of the year, we all were like, man, Minnesota has no chance at all. They're going to be, they're depleted, blah, blah. We were totally wrong in the Minnesota, and I think we're going to be wrong. Everybody's going to be wrong in this one, too. I think I'm going with the Vikings to take this one. I really like what they're doing. Justin Jefferson, I think, is going to show up, playoff time now. So everybody's 0-0, so you can throw all the records out the window. But I like what Minnesota's doing right now, man. So I'm going to take Minnesota in this one. I might be the only one.
So you think Sam Darnold is going to play a good game in the postseason?
I do. I think that he had it was a fluky experience that he had last week. It did not look good. I will be the first to admit that one. But I like what they're doing. I think that it's like I was saying before. Everybody's 0-0 again. That's that cliche thing that the whole season starts back over. And I think Sam Darnold's going to show out. I think he needs to show out. I think he's going to improve the team. I think he's going to have a good game. I think Matthew Stafford's better. I'm not saying that. It's not going to be against, they don't play against each other on the field, if you will.
Yeah, of course.
But I would take Matthew Stafford in a playoff game over Sam Darnold. I just like what Sam Darnold's doing. I like their offense. I like what Minnesota's doing. I think they'll come out the win. Even if Sam Darnold has a mediocre game, Minnesota's defense is pretty damn good.
So, to me, technically what you're saying that they are starting off 0-0. I do agree with that. But to me, the playoffs started last week for the Vikings against the Detroit Lions because they're fighting for the number 1 seed. You want that bye week. You want home field advantage going through the whole playoffs. They didn't get that. And you saw how the way he played under that pressure was not the same Sam Darnold that we saw all season. It was Sam Darnold under the big lights. So
that's a very valid point. He did not look good. He did not look like the same Sam Darnold that's been playing pretty much all year. He looked rattled. It did not look good. But I'm going to put that one aside and just go with I think the team learned and they they're gonna play well. I'm going Minnesota.
Yeah, that definitely can happen for sure. They can learn from their mistakes 100%.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun though. At least that's the Monday night game. And like I was saying too, that game has been moved to actually Arizona. So that's gonna be interesting to see out there. So it's no home field advantage as well. Kind of weird, right?
True.
So all right, so we got another game going on here, and we have the Packers and the Eagles, and this is going to be a fun one here, man. I started off the year by saying I think the Packers are going to make the Super Bowl and the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. Did not look as good as they did. Jordan Love got hurt. They had a little up and down times. You know what? You can't jump off the bridge. I'm going to stick with the Packers. I think the Packers will win this game. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Jalen Hurts is going to be back for this game. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he's already practicing.
Yeah,
he's already practicing. Okay, yes, that's good because you want to see all your stars play in the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. Go Pack, go, man. I just think that they're going to get together. They did lose Watson the other day. That's going to be a harder time. But I like what Green Bay's doing right now, man. They don't look as dominant as I wanted them to as my Super Bowl pick, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to take Green Bay.
Gotta disagree, man. I was gonna say real quick though too, because I haven't checked the injury report for today yet. Is Love or Will is Love? Is he he's still good, right? He's questionable. So, okay. So I think this game is going to hinge on whether or not Jordan Love plays, like how close it's going to be. If he plays, then yeah, I mean, we saw that even though, again, like based on how the season's panned out, that the Packers going into that first game against Philly, they were severely mismatched and everything like that. And still, it was a good game. So, but if Love does not play, this game's not going to be even close. Even if Love does play, you're losing Watson. I think that that's something that's not going to help them in the slightest. I don't think that they really have a lot of other weapons out there that can help them compete with Philly. So for this one, I would say this is borderline going to be probably aside from this one in the Buffalo game, this is probably going to be the one with the biggest blowout. I got Philly winning this one pretty comfortably. Again, you've got Hurts that's fully healthy. You got Saquon coming off a 2,000-yard season, and he sat out week 18. Obviously, I would have loved to have seen him go for the record, but he sat out. I think that that's something that's going to help him kind of get his legs back under him for this playoff game. So I got Philly winning this one pretty comfortably.
Real quick, would you guys put Saquon out there to get the record?
I would,
or Super Bowl more important.
I would have asked him.
Super Bowl is more important, 100%.
Record,
but if
I would have asked him, like how you just said.
If he wanted to go for it, I'd be like, "Yo, do it, man! Like, the second you get it, we're taking you out."
Yeah, I agree with you, BG, as well, man. It has to go through Josh Jacobs. He's been a hell of a pickup for the Green Bay Packers. He's fit in perfectly there. He started out with that, not getting as many touchdowns, then also he's been on a rampage. So Jordan Love, regardless, I think it goes through Josh Jacobs 100%. I totally agree with you on that one, man.
No, 100%. You have to go through Josh Jacobs. And honestly, I want to say the Packers to win, man, because it's always F the birds. And I hope I am wrong, man, but I think the Eagles win, bro. Yeah, you have two great running backs that are going to go out there and they're going to have great rushing attacks throughout this whole game. I don't think that either one is going to get stopped. Obviously, if Jordan Love plays, it's going to be a big help for them. If Malik Willis plays, even though they still look good with Malik Willis, he's improved.
Yeah,
he's got to Green Bay. He's improved.
Better. He looks way better than he did when he first started. I mean,
when he was in Tennessee and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but Philadelphia's defense is just so much more better than the Green Bay Packers, man. When it comes to rush defense and when it comes to pass defense, their secondary is obsolete. Their defensive line is insane. And dude, man, I just don't see the Packers pulling it off here. I'm not gonna say that the Eagles are gonna blow them out. I think it's gonna be a good game right to the end, but I think the Eagles are gonna find a way to win. They put it on Saquon's back, and they're gonna probably win by a field goal or maybe by a touchdown. But I got Philly with it.
And I will say this as well, like this is not easy for me to say to see Philly win because obviously I want Green Bay to win because then they go to Detroit and then we get another home playoff game in Tampa if we win this week, which for me that's great. I need more money. It says it in the little description there. Like, come on. I am hoping Green Bay proves me wrong because if they do and we moving on, I get another fat paycheck and we good. But man, I gotta keep it a buck. I gotta keep it honest the way I see it. And I gotta pick Philly.
Analytical, baby. Analytical.
All right. Well, it's gonna be a fun game either way. I know everybody's pretty excited for that 100%. One, man. Wild card football is great. All right, we got another big one here, man. The AFC North matchup. I feel like I've seen this game like 19 times this season, but
I feel like this is cake. I feel like this is cake. It just feels like it's been every week.
Yeah. But having said that, we got the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think this one's going to be much of a game, honestly. I think the Ravens are just going to landslide in this one. Lamar Jackson, I think, is going to have a big game. Now, having said that, though, he's probably going to win the MVP. I was for Josh Allen, but I totally understand if Lamar Jackson wins it. I'm not going to be upset about that one at all. Having said that, though, Lamar Jackson needs to prove it this time. Every time the playoffs, that guy has not played well. He's had an amazing regular season. The playoffs, he has not played well. So,
correct.
Just saying, I want to see.
Well, he played well against the Texans last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not to compare to his MVP seasons, though. I mean, like he played well. That was it. Not for
he played well. I'm not saying
right. So I mean, he needs to. I think he needs to finally prove that he is that dude because it'll be the same narrative that I've been saying and a lot of people's been saying for a while that he's great in the regular season. Come playoff time, it actually matters. What can you do? Having said that, I think the Ravens are going to stomp on the Steelers. The Steelers offense just it's like they're Russell Wilson kind of came back to earth and the offense is just kind of falling off. The defense is always going to be there, but I don't see this is going to be much of a game.
Birds take this one pretty easily, just like with Philly. It's just too much in their favor. They got everything going right, And it's going to be an easy game for me to call. Also, too, shout out Brandon in the comment section, man. I appreciate it, man. I need all the game money I can. I got holiday bills to pay off. The credit card has been run up. My credit score is going down. I need some money to get it all back.
Don't let these people know your info, man.
I don't care, man. What do I do?
The number is no.
I do. I care.
Nah, man. Look, I don't care. I didn't say exact numbers. I mean, I think everybody is. Let's be honest. Everybody has to overspend a little bit during the holidays. Just
my man is balling on a budget. I can tell you that.
Nah, baby, Ross, baby, $5.
There we go. All right, so you got any thoughts on this one, G Mike, or it's pretty much set in stone? I think the Ravens are going to dominate this one.
Yeah, the Ravens are going to dominate 100%.
Yeah, and I know you're big on the Ravens.
I just want to point out that the Ravens from week 1 through week 11 were in the bottom half of the league on defense, and then from week 12 to week 18, they are first in every category on defense. So that defensive turnaround, man, it's been insane. It's been awesome to watch. And, dude, against, like Steve said, a Steelers offense like this where Russell Wilson literally has come back to earth.
Yeah.
Dude, they're not going to be able to put up 20 points, and the Ravens are going to put up like 30.
Yeah, we always talk about getting hot at the right time. And, again, the Ravens have gotten the hottest at the perfect time.
At the perfect time. Yep.
Yeah.
Run the ball!
Yes.
Run the ball!
Zay Flowers is questionable. I believe I saw yesterday that he is questionable. Zay Flowers might not be in the game, so that might be a determining factor as well. Yeah. But the offense is clicking perfectly fine without him.
No, he's not playing. He's not playing.
That might come into factor the following round, but I think this game they'll be able to be
he doesn't need to play against the Steelers. He doesn't need to.
Yeah. All right, we got 2 more games, and the next one we're gonna go ahead and break down is the Broncos and the Bills. Man,
easy too.
We ain't even got to break this down, man. This is
Bills money line.
Bills, okay.
Take the over, Bills.
Bills, man. You guys are highly confident in the Bills. I'm taking the Bills too, but I do think the Broncos are going to give them a game, though. I don't think this one's going to be a blowout at all.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think they win by 10 points.
Okay.
I give them 2 scores.
So what's your thoughts on Bo Nix coming in his first playoff game? We are all kind of nervous about who was it? Sam Darnold. What about Bo Nix? He's a rookie. He's never been in this position before.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's the same feeling. Like, it's literally his first season, his first postseason. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. The story with Denver was amazing. I didn't predict them to get anywhere. I predicted them to be, I think, either last or second to last nervous. I mean, they technically are second to last, but like I didn't say have them making anywhere near the playoffs. So the fact that they made it and Bo has been playing really great football for a rookie, it's very impressive what he's accomplished. But again, this is his welcome to the league moment for sure against a very stout Buffalo team, Josh Allen, and then also too the frigid temps up in it's not. I forget the name of the stadium now, but it's like up in Buffalo. Like, yeah, I know Denver is mile high and they get pretty cold, but like it's a different animal entirely in Buffalo.
Yeah. I don't think Bo Nix is going to be the problem at all. I think he's coming to his own, and he looks like a veteran QB out there. Remember, guys, he is a rookie QB, but he looks like he's in his 3rd year playing out there. But the problem with me and the Broncos is the rushing attack. There's a reason why they have a running back committee of 3, and they can't barely even get 50 yards. One of those running backs, not to let alone obviously all 3. And if you don't have a rushing offense, man, when it comes to playoff time, bro, you are not gonna go nowhere. And especially against the Buffalo Bills defense, that the first half of the season, their rushing defense was horrendous. But then Von Miller came back, and it's improved substantially. They've gone to the top half of the league when it comes to rushing defense. Their secondary is pretty damn good as well. And then obviously you got MVP 2 runner-up with Josh Allen that he will probably score every single drive. I think if the Bills punt, it's going to be very surprising. It's either they're going to get a lot of field goals or get a lot of touchdowns, or I don't see a lot of punts from the Buffalo Bills is what I'm trying to say. Probably 1, maybe 2, but probably 1.
Yeah. Bold predictions of 2025. 2 punts. I like it.
Yeah.
Going big this show. All right, guys. Well, yeah, I think we're all going Bills here. So we do have. I was forgive me. I was wrong in this one. I thought we had only 2 games, but there actually was 2 more games. The one I did forget about was this one here, and it's the Chargers and the Texans. I did forget about this game, but I really like the Chargers, man. I think the Chargers are one of those dark horse teams that actually could make some noise in the playoffs. Actually, the defense is if not the best defense in the league. They're top 3 at least. Justin Herbert is just awesome. He's that guy I think that everybody kind of he's never gonna like blow you away with these numbers kind of thing, but like Justin Herbert is just a great QB. Yeah, he's a great QB.
Baker. He reminds me of Baker. The guy's
man. He does everything for the team. He's just a great quarterback. I love Justin Herbert. I wish Indianapolis could have drafted him. There was rumors they were going to at the time, but Chargers turns out they were right too. Having said that, I'll get off my team. Anyways, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I don't believe in the Texans very much. I can see a big game from Nico Collins, but that's about it, man.
Yeah, man. The Texans are depleted, bro, and I think C.J. Stroud, he's having a bad year. I think he's going to be an elite quarterback. So don't get it twisted.
Agreed.
Having a bad year,
slump,
and it's gonna go into this game right here. I don't think they're gonna be able to score as much against a top 3 defense like Steve mentioned in the Chargers, and Justin Herbert. And that running offense is going to be pretty damn good. I see J.K. Dobbins. He'll probably have a big game, man. I would say the 70 yards and a TD.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, again, just that defense that LA has is it's one of the best in the league, if not the best. So going up against a quarterback in the sophomore slump, a team that is depleted, I think, again, spoiler alert, this is going to be the only wild card team that I think does the upset over the division champ in this round. So I got Chargers over the Texans, probably by about 10, I would say, judging by it. I don't think the Texans really, this is going to be their year. I think next year, get CJ's confidence back, get some more pieces, keep building, and you'll be fine. But right now, you got to give it to the team with the better defense and the team that's got, I think right now, the better quarterback in this season.
Isn't it funny that the Houston Texans are almost guaranteed to always play that 4:00 game on the first day? Like they always get that spot, man. It just never fails, man.
Well, it's just like us in night games. We always get either the Sunday night or the Monday night playoff game. So it's like, we love it.
That's true. That is true.
Prime time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got one more game, and I know one person in particular is extremely excited about it. So without further ado, we have the Commanders and the Buccaneers.
Oh, don't
Mr.
hate.
DC, take the lead, my friend.
Oh, don't hate. Just appreciate. Be happy for me, man. Like, because, hey, when we win, we all win. Don't ask me how, but, it is what it is. No, I was very happy to see us getting the 3 seed for sure. It's nice to see us continue to progress from 8-9 2 years ago. Didn't deserve to really be in that spot at all. To going last year 9-8, surprising the Eagles, and now this year getting that 3 seed locked up, getting home field advantage except for 2 matchups potentially. I'm very proud of this team, what they've accomplished, especially considering how beat up they've been this season. There's only been a handful of teams, I'd say, that got the injury bug worse than us. So all those things considered, I'm happy to be where we're at. That being said, going into this playoff matchup, I like I said, I didn't get the injury reports for a lot of other teams, but I've been keeping up with the Bucs, obviously. We're getting Cade Otton back for this game. We're getting Antoine Winfield back. We're getting Jamel Dean back. I know a lot of people were saying that this was going to be a shootout. I was leaning that way as well. However, again, with getting your number 1, number 2 cornerback, getting your all-pro safety back, and then getting your underrated tight end back, I think that this one is going to help swing things a little bit more in the Bucs' favor. Jane Daniels has been a stud this year. Obviously, he was a stud in that Week 1 matchup. I think that, again, this is going to be a welcome to the league moment for him. I don't think that it's going to be like we're going to dominate, but I would not be shocked to see the Bucs hang 30 on this defense, especially if they can run the ball like they have been all season. This is the only offense in the league that is top 5 in both rushing and passing. So, pick your poison, really. And with Washington's main weakness on defense being the run game, it would not surprise me to see us gash them for like 150 yards there and just opening it up for Mike Evans and Otton down the field. And I think we can hang 30 on them. And then the defense, again, it's been hampered with injury, but it would not surprise me if the score was a little bit similar to what Week 1 was, but I got to give the edge to the Bucs somewhat comfortably because they're the healthier of the 2 teams, and I think they're just the far superior of the 2 teams.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you guys are in Tampa Bay and you see a guy streaking down the field, it's possible it could be BC Brandon, man.
No. That cannot be me. I get fired immediately on the spot because they'd be like, "Where are you at? You're supposed to be running camera." I would be catching the guy doing the
Fuck the
streaking on the
camera.
field. I would be that would be my shot up on the jumbotron, because that when 2 weeks ago when we were playing the
No kidding.
Panthers with you got oh my gosh. But y'all remember Ducky Irving, the whole duck on the field for that one during the Bucks game?
Yeah.
That was the first shot that went up on the scoreboard. That was mine, because I was like, yo, I gotta grab this. So like I just have a knack for catching the weirdest stuff at the game. So like, yo, if there's a streaker, man, it's gonna be my shot. I'm gonna find him.
You're gonna find him because it's you.
Exactly, man.
Personally, he'll be taking a selfie. Exactly.
No, I'll just take the camera off the tripod, just start running down the stadium.
It'll be a View Smith stand exclusive from the field. Braden streaking.
Oh gosh, man.
Is that BC? Look at him.
I'd lose my job and my marriage all in one day.
But you'll live on in infamy forever, my man.
I don't want to do
You'll
that.
be viral and you'll get paid for the dumbest
That's
things, just like everybody else. And then
I'll be getting paid from jail, so like I'll take that.
from jail.
Mr. G Mike, man, you got anything on this one, or do you think BC nailed it?
No, BC definitely nailed it. But one thing I just want to touch up on is the Commanders' defense is what really worries me about this game, and which is why I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think it is going to be a shootout. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win it in the last few minutes of the game, go down Baker Mayfield and now offense, drive down the field and either get a field goal or a TD for the win, because the Commanders defense, man, they're just so bad right now, man. I think they need more time to get more chemistry together. You bring in a star-studded cornerback in Marshawn Lattimore. He's going to try and cover Mike Evans, which is his arch enemy. It's going to be
it's
going to be a good matchup.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good matchup, but I think that the chemistry you need as a secondary, you need chemistry between the corners and the safeties. And I think that chemistry has not been built yet because he's been injured a few games. He hasn't been playing. He hasn't been practicing as much. He's played a few games, but it hasn't all been there. And you see it there on the field. They still get scored on from any other team. And I think against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker's going to exploit that, and he's going to get about 2 passing touchdowns, and Mike Evans is going to have one for maybe 100 yards. And I don't think the commies are going to take it.
Nah, commies ain't taking nothing right now, man.
I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I think both defenses are kind of suspect right now. Lattimore is obviously a great player, and that Mike Evans thing, it's always a good time to watch. But I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, excuse me. One thing I'm going to take the Bucs in this one as well. But one thing that is kind of interesting, if you think about this playoffs, rookie quarterbacks, man. You got Bo Nix, you got Jaden Daniels. Both are playing lights out right now, man. Both are playing great football, and they really do look like the face of their franchise. So great quarterback class has been so far for the most part. I mean, it would have been interesting to see what JJ McCarthy could have done, but he got injured right away.
Yeah.
But having said that, though, I mean, the rookie quarterback's been playing pretty good this year.
Yeah, and I will say though too, with regards to the defense for the Bucs in this matchup, like ever since Week 12, they have had one of the better defenses in the league, and also too, like especially in the second half. First half, they've kind of struggled a little bit. They've come out a little sluggish, but once that second half comes, they make adjustments. If I'm not mistaken, like last few weeks, I think they've held opponents to only like 9 total points. So they do not they make those adjustments in the second half. So I'm interested to see how Daniels performs first off and how close the game is, and then second half coming out the gate. I'm interested in seeing if the Bucs blow the doors off. So they've proven that they're a second half team. That was their struggle last year. They come out guns blazing, put up big points, and then choke it away in the end. So I'm interested in see how that goes. So
yeah, it's been pretty good, man. That's gonna be a fun game. I think that's my most exciting for offense of all the games this weekend.
Over under on a Mike Evans Marshawn Lattimore fight. What you got, G?
Over.
Let's go. Bench is clearing, man. I want to see it. Actually, no, I don't, because then we get players suspended and we're screwed. So never mind.
There we go. Right, exactly.
It's good for entertainment.
But not good for us, man. We have to go to Philly the next round, man. Dang.
If you're a good team, you'll win with your backups, baby.
Man, shut up. We've been doing that all
I'm talking shit.
There we go. Well, we got one more thing to go over today, and we have our fun-filled Down Bad Debate. And this one's going to be a fun one, man. It's a little bit NBA style. So we got it up on here on the screen if you can't see it. We got Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Anthony Edwards. You have to cut one player. Mr. BC, you're up top. You're up first, man. Who are you cutting?
I am going to cut Devin Booker in this one. Just because of the fact that of all those guys, I feel like he he's a multi-level scorer for sure, but I feel like most of those guys can give you the same amount of production and can, I think, give you that multi-level scoring, but play lockdown defense on the other end. Jason Tatum can give you that same multi-level scoring, but he also gives you, I think, playoff pedigree, clutch experience, like when it comes down to it. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think, is the biggest star of all those three guys, and his offensive versatility just far exceeds anything I think Booker. Not far exceeds, but it exceeds Booker beyond any point of like narrowing the gap. So I got to give it to Devin Booker. It's a close one. Like I said, each one we're nitpicking at this point, but I got to take Ant's defensive chops. I got to take Tatum's postseason chops, and then I got to take Shai's just star chops over D Book. Sorry, Suns fans.
Yeah.
All right, you might get up, buddy.
No, he took the words right out of my mouth, man. Devin Booker for sure. The lack of defense is what is horrible to me. I don't like that at all. I like two-way players better than one-way players. Yes, Devin Booker's an amazing scorer, and he can score with the best of them, and he'll probably be up there in the ranks when his career is all said and done. But I need you to play defense too, doggy.
Yep.
If you're not out there playing defense, I don't want you out there on the floor for me. I'm sorry. I need a player that's going to go out there and play offense and defense the same kind of way that he's going to be playing. And JT does that. AE does that. And Shai does that. Like,
yeah, man,
it's just written on the wall for me. And dude, honestly, like I love D Book's game on the offensive end. Great scorer. I wish he was on the Miami Heat, but I gotta choose the defensive players, the two-way players over the one-way players.
And Shai too, if I'm not mistaken, I would say he's probably one of the most underrated perimeter defenders in the league. Dude, like led the league in steals, I think last year, a couple seasons ago. So
averages like 2.9 steals right now, or something like that.
Yeah. So like, dude, like, and nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about his scoring ability, which is otherworldly. But like, dude, you're those are like approaching like Michael Jordan levels of savviness on the defensive end. So just saying.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so for me, everybody knows my stance on Anthony Edwards. He drives me nuts, but I'm not gonna actually go Anthony Edwards in this one. That was gonna be my pick, just to stick with my stance on Anthony Edwards. But having said that,
of course you would.
I'm not gonna do it. He is a good player. He just drives me nuts. Having said that, I am gonna go Devin Booker as well.
Do it for the views.
Do what?
Do it for the views.
Do it for the views. I mean, he is good. He just drives me nuts. I can't.
I mean, if we're talking about a player that drives me nuts, I'm gonna take out Jason Tatum. I think he's cringy as hell.
Yeah,
Brandon Jennings talking about he's the softest superstar in history.
Yes,
I kind of see it. I like,
I think
he is soft as hell. Yes,
I have never seen any superstar try to be so like. Well, I was gonna say no Diddy or pause, but you guys know what I mean. I've never seen any superstar try to be so hard, so tough. And he just comes across soft as Charmin. Like, my gosh, like that whole what was it he said when they won the title? Like, he tried so hard. Well, like, we did it. Yeah, it's like, stop trying to recreate KG, man. Like, you will not be Kevin Garnett. Just be Tatum.
Yeah.
Just like be calm and collected.
Kobe. Like when I heard about him sending Kobe a text and then he put it on his IG story to show everybody he sent Kobe a text after he passed away. Rest in peace to one of the GOATs. But after he did that, I was like, "You're a bitch. You're
say it without saying it."
Like, dude, yes, exactly. You don't need a post on IG for everybody to see. Okay, you want to send Kobe a text because you feel that spiritual connection. All right, that's cool. I get that. But to put it on IG so everybody sees that you sent Kobe a text, yo, you're cringe as fuck, my boy.
Or I mean, just make a post like everybody else and just say, dude, this man was an inspiration to me. I modeled so much of my game after this guy. He's an incredible player. Do that.
Since then,
stop making it about yourself. Like
ever since then, I've noticed the cringe shit that he does.
Yeah.
And just like, dude, get off of my screen. Please.
Seriously. Like, he tries so much to piggyback off of other players to make himself look good. And it's like, my guy, we all see through it. You are fake.
But as a basketball player,
he
is an MVP type player.
And he is.
I can't take that.
If I had to nitpick on his game, I don't like how he tries to play. He tries to play either too much isolation or he tries to take over a game, and I just don't think that's in his game either. I think he's so much better served for the Celtics whenever he plays team basketball. Whenever he tries to take over a game, that's what we got Jaylen Brown for. Jaylen Brown's that dog. Jaylen Brown's the guy that's going to take it over for you if you need it to, kind of thing. Tatum should be better facilitator. You know, he's fantastic player, one of the best in the league right now. But I don't like whenever he tries to play isolation basketball or
it's amazing.
I see what you're saying, and I kind of disagree a little bit because I think he can do it, but I do agree with the fact that he be trying too much with it. Like you gotta let it just come to you when it comes to isolation plays. Like you gotta like if you see the court is spread out, everybody's on the three, and no one's by you. All right, run the 1-on-1. But like if someone's trying to set you a pick and then you wave them off, or it's too much of a clusterfuck in the lane, and you still try to run the 1-on-1 and go to the lane and try to make a layup, it's like, dude, why?
Right.
You got so many shooters. You guys literally live and die by the three. You got so many shooters, and you're out there.
And I find him taking too many threes. Like you can easily
trying to be like Steph.
Yeah, like I don't know. Some of his game kind of annoying. I guess I'm gonna take Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's gotta go.
Yeah, you know what? We could all just, let's just make it an F Boston moment. Be like, all right, Jason Tatum gone. Yeah, I will take D Books. You know what? I may change my mind. I don't know, but like I might go with the emotional and be like, you know what? I'll take D Books lack of defense over Jason Tatum's cringe any day at this point. But like seriously, like just stop trying to be Steph. Stop trying to be KG. Stop trying to be Kobe. Be yourself. And it's amazing to me that how Boston's able to have this success when he has those moments like that. Mm-hmm. It just speaks to how great they are as a team.
No,
all right, so as a recap real quick. So you're going to, BC, why don't you start us off? Who are you taking?
Oh, gosh. I at the beginning, I was cutting D Book, but it's like now I'm so pissed off at Jason Tatum. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. For chemistry's sake, get rid of Tatum because I don't want his corny self ruining the flow of this team, man. Just let's just do it. Boston fans, come at me. I already hate the Red Sox, so you know what? Add the Celtics to it. Why not?
Yeah, bro. I'm gonna stick with basketball play here, and I'm gonna take away Devin Booker just because on the simple fact that he's not a two-way player as great as these other guys. How BG has mentioned before, his defense is being overshadowed right now, which I do agree with that this season, but it's not the same level compared to Shai, AE, and JT, in my opinion.
All right, yeah. So if I had to take, I would go Devin Booker out of these ones. But we all kind of talked about it. Tatum annoys me, and Anthony Edwards drives me fucking nuts. So if I had to actually choose what I want to say, I would go Anthony Edwards. But for the actual, if we're really playing basketball, I would get rid of.
Say, hey, let's just all have different ones, man. Do it for the views.
You know what, Anthony Edwards, you gotta go. You drive me nuts, my man.
Yeah, man.
Anthony Edwards is not a team player, guys. Says BG.
Right.
I disagree.
He drives me nuts, man. I can't say Anthony Edwards.
I think he's a team player. I think he's just one of those guys that is very vocal, and he wants to
like Jimmy
to be known what is exactly. He wears his heart on his sleeve, just like Jimmy Butler. He wants everybody to know exactly what's going on in his mind, and then when they have a bad game, he'll let his teammates and everybody in the media know, "Yo, we suck right now," which is kind of a good thing. But then again, it can be a bad thing, and it can go to the negative side of
PR nightmare.
Team player.
Yeah. PR nightmare. But
I don't know.
Yeah. So, hey, we all
there. It's that stuff that drives me nuts about Anthony Edwards. I think that he thinks he's better than he is.
I mean, I get it.
I mean, we all.
It's an ego thing, I would say.
Yeah. If he could check his ego, then he would be. I think what happened with him was that whole he's the face of the league thing, and I think that once that started going in the MJ comparisons and all that stuff, I think that's whenever it started going to his head, and he kind of like that. I just started noticing it more. Maybe I don't know, but that kind of drives me nuts.
BG just mentioned that right there. It's cancerous at the level, bro. It's too much ego. Yeah, it can be too much ego, 100%. I think that's gonna come with maturity. It's gonna come with maturity.
I agree. I mean, shoot.
For a guy that really hasn't won too much either, and that's where I think the problem comes in too. Like at least Tatum has a ring now. Tatum's been to the finals, stuff like that. Like Anthony Edwards, like in all honesty, like he wasn't even an MVP candidate last year. You know what I'm saying? Like for a guy that talks as much as he does and his ego is as big as it is, he hasn't really won much.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he comes from a place of like, you can't guard me, and honestly, I would say 95% of those NBA players cannot guard him.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Sure.
I think that's where it comes from. I don't think it comes from like the winning aspect of it. If you get what I'm saying.
Sure. I mean, he is on top of it. Sure, he is definitely a great player. It's not taken away from it. It's just the fact of he So what? So you put up 40 and you lose. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
here's your
It's
flowers.
all about the
You're
dub
great,
at the
dude.
end of the day. It's
You
all
know.
about the dub at the end of the day. Don't let anybody else tell you differently. It's all
Now,
about
if you had a ring, maybe an MVP. Okay. All right. You know, talk it. But you haven't even been an MVP candidate. So, like, let's pump the brakes a little bit, Brian.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. It has been a hell of a show, a hell of a time. 2025 is going to be a great year for Views from the Stands. We are going to be getting back in the swing of things. It's been a little bit crazy with all of the holidays and all the stuff going on. So we will be getting back. We'll be hopefully doing 2 shows a week. Hopefully, we'll see. At least probably Saturdays for sure. So, G-Mike, got anything for the people before we take off?
Yes, guys, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment under the videos, either the long version of the podcast videos or the short version of the short videos that we put up on YouTube. Please give us your love and your support and caring. Or if you want to talk smack and tell me how ugly I look or how funny Steve's haircut is or BC how he's a maniac, do that as well in the comments. We would appreciate it.
I even said I was going to get pretty today, you know, so.
You know, man, I just roll up out of bed and look this good. So
It ain't easy, man.
Talk about ego right there, man. Nah, bro.
You feel me? You feel
nah,
me?
man. But yeah, not. And I will say though too, like if you guys disagree with us, anything we said, obviously, last down bad debate. We all got different answers. Somebody's gonna disagree with one of us. So like, put it in the comments section. Talk mad smack. Let us know how much you think you love Jason Tatum and his corniness. Let us know how much you love Anthony Edwards and his cancerous attitude. Let us know how much you love. Let us know how much you love D-Book and his no defense or his overshadow defense. Like seriously. And the more engagement we get, the better. And if you guys ever want to come on a show too, let us know. We want to bring you guys on. We want to make you guys guests. Like this is not just for us. This is not just something where we're on a platform and we closing the gates. Nobody else is welcome on. This is our thing. No, like. We are the hosts of this show, but this is also for you guys. If you guys want to come on, hit us up. Let us know. We'd love to have it. We want to have the different voices from around any sports league, any sports fandom, and it's just going to make us better. It's going to make the show better. It gives you guys a chance to get your thoughts, your opinions out there. So just hit us up, man. This door is wide open for any and everybody to come on.
Yes, sir. Well said, BT.
Guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We appreciate every love and support. Like they were saying, please like and subscribe. Hopefully, the people out there in California, man, we got prayers for you, man. That's a lot of mess going on out there. And everybody underwater, too. Under snow. There's a bunch of snow going on, too. Dude, so stay warm, stay safe. Life is too short not to, man. We appreciate everything you guys do. We out.
Peace.